Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast Retro Life for You, movies in the 1980s. My name is Chris Adams, host of the show. And with me, of course, is the little monster himself,
Oh
Travis
yeah,
Rollins.
I thought it was good, but it was not.
That's what you
Thought it
get
was
for
something
thinking,
good, but it
right?
was not.
We're
The
talking
little
little
monster
monsters.
himself. Oh
We're
yeah.
talking, we're talking some little monsters this week. Now, this is Travis's idea. Travis threw this one at me a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here thinking to myself when he brought it up, I'm like, little monsters, come on, man. We're going to talk about the kids' movies now. We're bringing up the little cartoony
Oh
kid
yeah.
movies. And I'm
Oh yeah.
like, this can't be any good. I didn't remember watching it, but I was
Right.
rewatching it today. And I'm like, dude, I've seen this. This was
Mm-hmm.
great. What am I
And you
thinking?
loved it. Yep.
What am I confusing it with? What else was out there about that time frame that was like that?
Well, you had the two that I remember that had monster in the name was this one and Monster Squad.
Monster Squad, though, I've seen that because that's one where they're like Wolfman's got nards, kick him in the nards.
Exactly.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen that one.
Oh,
I
but
know I've
yeah,
seen that one
I
too.
think I know what you're talking about, and it was a little cartoon. It was a cartoon. You had My Pet Monster.
That
I,
could have been.
I might have been it. I don't know.
I don't know. It's something about it stood out though as a kids cartoon. And I was like, why am I watching a kids cartoon movie for the podcast this week? But no,
Right.
it was really good. Though. It was great. Got a brief description. We'll just jump right into it. So, well, actually, you know what? Let's not jump straight into it. As always, what we should do, you know what we do. How was your
Yeah.
weekend,
How
man?
was
What
your
did you do this
I
weekend?
this oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This weekend was full of events.
I see
So
you made a doctor.
I made a doctor. Yeah, I made it from scratch. Sure enough.
Yeah,
We went so Saturday went over to my grandfather's house and helped my aunts and my mother clean up from there from where he passed. They're getting rid of the property. Directly after that, came home, went to Home Depot, got some stuff, came home, worked on the house, worked on my kitchen sink. I replaced the kitchen sink Saturday, and then today we went to Presbyterian College out here in Clinton, South Carolina, and watched my daughter receive her white coat and her first generation pin. So she's the first of her name to go on to grad school.
that's awesome. Congrats to her.
Got to do that. She starts tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, she's worked real hard at it, no doubt. How was your weekend, brother man?
It's pretty much a little bit of the same as usual. I work half my weekend, and then today, as we're recording, is my first of 2 days off, and just relaxed a little bit. Went out and ate lunch. Um,
Go.
played a little. I relaxed and played some games earlier. You know,
I like it.
watched this movie we're doing today. I always try to watch the movie the day of if I can, so it's fresh in my mind.
I do too. This one, I had so much going on today. That's the other thing. Right after that, we raced straight home and started doing meal preps and stuff for the week. Um, what Tasha said, someone she spoke to, she's like, I don't know anybody that works like the two of you do. Like we're always doing something. I don't even have like my grass is knee high. I can't even cut my own daggum grass. But yeah, I usually try to watch it a day of too, like you said, so it's fresh in my mind, or at least Friday, Saturday before we shoot. We usually shoot on Sundays for those of y'all that don't know. So but this one, I've seen this one so much, and I watched it with my son probably. I think I told you about it. It's been a few months ago. So,
Yeah,
and I've seen this one so many times, dude. Like I've watched this movie 10, 15 times. I know it's probably really second only to Goonies and Beastmaster. Really,
it's well
Lord
worth
of
the
the,
watch.
Lord of the Rings isn't in the conversation. I watch that at least
Well,
twice a year.
now we can't breathe. We can't bring up Lord of the Rings because it used to be for me with Star Wars,
Yeah.
and it I graduated from Star Wars to the big boy league and went to Lord of the Rings. So
Oh yeah.
there's no lightsabers there, but hey, who needs a lightsaber when you got Gandalf?
That's what I'm talking about.
So anyway, just go ahead and get this out here. I got a little description of the movie I looked at earlier, and this will pretty much put it to you in a nutshell. If you haven't seen the movie, it's a fun movie. It's a great movie to watch. So if you do get a chance to sit down and watch it with your kids, especially the kids will love it.
Oh, for sure, for
And
sure.
no doubt. But Little Monsters. It's a 1989 fantasy comedy film that blends humor, heart, and a touch of darkness in the story about childhood fears and friendships. Directed by Richard Greenberg, the movie follows the adventures of a young boy named Brian, who's played by Fred Savage, who discovers an entire world
Don't
of
tell him who
mischievous
Maurice is.
creatures. Huh?
Don't tell him who Maurice is yet.
Hold on. Hold on. It was getting there. He said so. Mischievous creatures living under his bed. Leading the pack of these mischievous beings is Maurice. Now, I won't tell you, like he said, who plays it yet, but whose wild antics and unpredictable nature bring both fun and chaos to Brian's life. The film also features performances by Ben Savage, Fred's real life younger brother, and Daniel Stern, who plays Brian's father. Despite its creative premise and memorable performances, Little Monsters struggled at the box office, however. $4.5 million budget to make this movie, Travis, and it grossed
Wow.
approximately $793,775.
What? That surprises me,
It
man.
was,
Because my age group, we were all over this.
but it was a limited release. It says, now,
Mm,
however, since like a lot of movies do, it has gained a cult following, appreciated for its unique take on childhood imagination and the inventive creature designs that made it a memorable piece of 80s nostalgia.
no doubt.
So
No doubt.
what's up with Maurice, man?
So I wouldn't call. So first off, there's a couple things with Maurice. I wouldn't call him. Maybe they said he was the ringleader or whatever it was that they said. Because he was like at the forefront of the movie. He's a main character. He and Fred Savage share that Brian share the spotlight.
Right.
With Kirsten, of course, but
Mhm.
the boy is the ringleader, and Snick is his right hand man. So, no, there's a disclaimer too. If they're really young kids, there's a couple parts that might freak them out a little bit in the movie.
Yeah,
But
just a couple.
the big deal about Maurice is played by a super famous comedian, if you don't already know, who's extremely relevant right now, right here on this very show.
Can you imagine how in the world did this guy pull this off with all that makeup and all that outfit and stuff that they had to put on him with the conditions that he has?
I know, right? It makes me wonder if he developed it later in life. Was he like that when he was
No,
younger, or what?
yes, yes,
So
yes,
he's
he
always
was.
been a
There's
germaphobe.
a
We're giving
there's a
clues
little
now, guys
yeah, there's a little
and gals.
there's a little tidbit of trivia about it where he talked about with his ADHD and his he didn't say germophobia, but he called it something else.
Yeah.
Um, that he found it very difficult to play the role of Maurice. However, he still owns
Okay.
the full costume of Maurice to this day, though.
Nice. Nice.
And
That's one of my favorite things he's
we'll
ever
give
done.
one we'll give one more hint. He does a voice of a young boy who has his own entire world.
His own entire world. Yeah.
Yes,
And can still
Father.
do that voice to this day perfectly, like he did, what, 30 years ago?
I guess it's been a while.
Bobby's World. Do y'all know Bobby's World? Y'all remember Bobby's World?
I remember
My
Bobby's
God,
World. I do,
I remember Bobby's World.
but Mr. Howie
Hop in the
Mandel.
Yeah, hop in the comments or whatever and daggum tell us about Bobby's World. Yeah, Howie Mandel, man. Howie is a national treasure, dude, for Canada and the US. You ever notice I brought this up to Tasha. How is it that AGT America or AGT United States of America is the only AGT show I've seen that has no judges that are, that are indigenous or
They're American judges.
natural born citizens of the country that the show is filmed in.
It's funny, isn't it?
Like none of them.
Uh, at one point, there was though, right?
A couple of times, yeah.
Yeah. So I
Oh,
mean,
what's her name? The one that was on Dancing with the Stars. I can't remember her name.
yeah, I don't know many of their names. I don't really watch the show that much.
I love AGT.
I've seen some things. I've kept up with some people that were on there,
Mm,
but I didn't. I just don't get a lot into the show. It's just like the singing shows, The Voice or America's. What's the other
yeah,
one?
the Masked
The,
Singer.
the one Kelly Clarkson came from, the original one.
Oh yeah. Oh man. We were just talking about it the other day. American Idol.
Yeah, American Idol. I don't really get into those. I used to love watching American Idol. I did
Right.
at one point, but
So you know he did he also did Gizmo too. The-
he's done.
And my guy, my shoot, Police Academy. What's his name? Michael
Winslow.
Winslow. he was doing the Gremlins, and then he came back and did he did the Mogwai and the Gremlins on the cartoon show, I think, which is pretty cool. I think.
Something else. Something else. Fred Savage, like you said, man, what pretty much the main star of the movie. His
Hmm.
brother Ben Savage played in it with him as well.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of trivia that that their sister, their younger sister, had a small part as a part of a kid monster or a baby monster or something like that.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
Howie, now if you hadn't
How do you
known,
like? How do you feel about? I think it's pretty wild that you had Fred Savage in the Wonder Years, and then Ben Savage in Boy Meets World. These two coming of age tales of teenage angst and what we dealt with in school and all that. So it was like they were playing parallel parts in different times.
and you know, as usual, there's some tie-ins with the stars and other shows and everything as well.
Mhm.
During the Wonder Years, it's a show about Fred Savage as a kid, right? But there's a narrator about his life as a child. Do you know who the narrator was?
No,
Daniel Stern.
really.
Yes, I read
One
that earlier,
half of the
Dan.
Sticky Bandits.
Half of the Wet Bandits,
Half
Wet
of the Wet
Bandits, Sticky
Bandits.
Bandits.
Sticky Bandits.
It
I thought it was
depends on it depends
the
on
Wet
which one you
Bandits.
watched, the first one or the second one. You know, first one they were
Oh,
the Wet Bandits, the second one they were the Sticky Bandits, or that's
oh.
what Marv wanted to be called anyway. Was the Sticky Bandits. Um, there was a kid in the movie who played the role of a bully,
Mm-hmm.
mad because someone threw his lunch out the window of the bus and hit him with it, and just bullied
Oh,
all the kids around.
Ronnie Coleman. He's the one they put cat food in his tuna fish sandwich and then
And
peed
they
in his apple juice.
peed and poured the apple juice out and peed back in it. Do you know who plays the character Ronnie Coleman? I mean, the name is Devin.
You just like froze on me,
The name is Devin
froze on me
Rattray.
for a second. Okay.
I'm sorry, did my voice freeze up too, or just a picture?
No, everything kind of went.
I'm sorry. Um,
Just all right.
the bully, played by Devin
Yeah.
Rattray.
Yeah.
He's the one who I'm looking at now. I'm like, I know him from somewhere. Where I know him from? He
Buzz.
played, yeah, he was Buzz in Home Alone,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. So him and Daniel Stern have a thing in common. They were in
Yeah.
something else.
As soon as he called Kevin a butthead, I was like, "Oh my God, that's Ronnie Coleman."
Yeah, yeah, and Margaret Whitten, who played the mother, Holly Stevenson, she was in a TV series with Ben Savage as well, which was Boy Meets World. She played a substitute teacher or a teacher on the show, maybe.
Heck yeah.
I know they share that in common with each other. So it's really kind of fun when you find a common link between people and other work that they've done. I mean, I know everybody works with everybody and multiple
Mhm.
times a lot, but when you can
Yeah,
put all these things together, it's cool.
and this is like one of the third or fourth movies we've done in a row where we're finding those connections and links where it's like everybody follows everybody around, like Kirstie Alley and my dude from what was it, back to school, summer school.
Mark Harmon,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, the director, here's something for you. Richard Greenberg. Do you know what he's known for? Movies he done before that he directed?
No, I have
I
to
mean,
be
just
honest on that one.
you're picturing Little Monsters, right? And you're thinking, well, what else, childlike movies could he have done?
Hmm.
Well, he did Predator in
What?
1987. Yeah. Flash Gordon in 1980.
Hmm,
He did The Edge of Darkness and Star Trek Nemesis, Richie Rich, Hudson the Hawk,
that's
Death
crazy.
Becomes Her. You know, he's done quite a few things, and he's not just only doing the directing. You know, he's got like producer and things like that
Yeah.
in some of these movies as well. But I mean, those are some of the movies he's been tied to, and very impressive list of movies. I couldn't believe the
No doubt.
guy that did Predator though did Little Monsters.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Well, you can see too though where he brought in because Little Monsters there gets like I said when it first came out. I didn't see it at the movies, but when I watched it at home, uh, I didn't like Snick too much. But when his face ripped off or whatever, when he showed him to be the monster, that was pretty freaky looking as a kid.
Yes, yes.
And we had some
The
dark
one
but fun elements to this movie too.
what's that?
we had some really dark but fun elements to it too, like the whole underworld when they went underground to the under
There
the
was
bed, you
something
know.
about right. And then there was I was going to ask you about that. Oh, where did it go? Well, it had something to do basically with the way the dark element of the underground, where the monsters come from and where they take the kids to and everything, and monsters coming out from under the kids' beds and such. Uh, how much do you think they played off of kids' fears? Like it's been a common thing over most every kid's life that they
Yeah,
don't want to look
yeah,
under the bed
right.
because they think there's a monster under the bed. And this is before this movie, well before this movie even came out, was a thing.
Hmm.
But they played off of that a little bit right there. What makes you think this? I guess isn't really movie related as much as it is kid related. But why do we think there's monsters under our bed when we're kids?
I don't know. Like it's a deep, dark place, I guess. I don't know. In the closet, you know, it's always the bed in the closet,
I mean,
and
we know what's in
it's
there. We know what's in our closet. We know what's under our bed.
yeah,
Nothing's just gonna pop up under there, right? But at one point, I think we all did this, and they played real well on that fear in the movie. I thought
yeah.
at the
And see,
beginning for the young boy.
I was right around the age at the height of being in all my fears because I was sneaking and watching scary movies, and you know, I was getting into horror. But then at the same time, I still was scared of the dark, or I still had to. I was the opposite of everybody else. You didn't close my closet door. I wasn't going to sleep. Like, dude, you don't close my closet. I got to see what's in there. You know what I mean? And I slept with a light on. Shoot, I wouldn't go to sleep with a light off until I was probably 15, 16 years old for whatever reason. Not scared of the dark anymore. Just I guess I didn't grown up doing it, so I had to have my light on. But this movie, for me and a lot of other kids, it made us like, man, I wish there was a monster as cool as Maurice under my bed. It kind of took a lot of that away from us. I think the play on it, the playing on the kids' fears, it kind of toned it down. You know what I mean? Because it's like, boy, if a monster come out from under my bed as cool as Maurice, I'd like that. It's like, yeah, I go with him.
You know, with Howie Mandel's portrayal of Maurice, do you see anything of Beetlejuice in that?
Totally.
Do you think that he was maybe did Beetle? Not, what year did Beetlejuice come out in? Do you remember? Was it
No, it
87,
was right around
88?
the same time.
Was it around the same time?
I
You
think so.
can't. It came out before this movie, didn't it?
I believe so. I believe it was 87. No, it was 88. It came out the year before. So it was
Or
88.
88. Yeah, I'm thinking because I was wondering if Howie Mandel maybe took some Beetlejuice and incorporated a little bit of that into his character.
Maybe a little bit, but but at the same time with Howie being Howie, you know, seeing some of his older stand up and some of the stuff he did and this and that and you know, I guess you wouldn't be able to help but compare it to Beetlejuice really.
Yeah,
But he was, yeah, I don't know. I could totally see Beetlejuice maybe because it's the kind of the same feel. And like you said, when they do go under the bed, like that world seems like it would fit in to Beetlejuice's afterlife world or whatever, or wherever the where the sandworms were or something like that.
right.
It
Could you
seems
see
like it would
anybody?
fit in.
Could you see anybody else playing Maurice other than Howie Mandel at that time?
I could, but I don't think it would have been. I don't think it would have captured the same magic. I think Billy Crystal probably could have done it.
Yeah, I think he could have as well. That's one of the names I had in my mind earlier, and I was thinking that because of Princess Bride.
Yeah, that and Billy. Oh my gosh, dude! I used to have him. So it's Billy Crystal, Sam Kinison, old George Carlin, like all those old dudes. I didn't even get half their jokes, but I had it on a cassette tape, and I'd go to bed listening to them dudes talk. And yeah, Billy Crystal is one of the funniest stand-ups I've ever heard in my life. Like it gets funnier as I get older too, because like at the time I didn't know him from Soap. You know, I'm listening to him when we're living in Aiken, so I'm like 11 years old, and he's like, I can't even repeat it. We'll get canceled now, but he's talking about the "You Look Marvelous" thing he used to do. You look marvelous.
Yeah,
He,
right.
he goes, but it's a lot better than what I used to get when I was doing Soap. It's like, hey, it's-
Same thing I sent you. I think I sent you the other day about All in the Family.
yeah,
Same stuff. I yeah, and really and truly, Howie Mandel played a very good version of Maurice. It's very memorable. While I think Billy Crystal could pull it off, I'm just wondering how how much better that it would have been if it would, because I think Howie Mandel had a good idea for the how to play this character and just nailed it.
Yeah, yeah. So it would be that he was a teenager that got under the bed. Like he was a kid too. He was a teenager that got under the bed and became a monster, kind of like Fred started doing. And you know what I mean? So they never grow up. So and that was one of the big things. Oh, no parents telling you what to do. You can play video games all night long. Like
Eat
I,
what you
I don't know if
want.
anybody. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else would have captured the child like side of it, as well as he did.
So under the bed is the way you enter the world of the monsters, but how is he able to? I don't think they ever really explained this really because he tested it on his own to see if he could. But
Hmm.
why was he able to go in there on his own without the help of Maurice?
Oh, because once you spend so long down there, you start because that's how they get new monsters. So the monsters are actually little boys that turn into, or that, well, they can turn into monsters. So some of them, I guess, were born monsters, but other ones become monsters. That's why I remember during the movie when he was spending so much time running around with Maurice playing pranks and messing with people. Remember he started turning invisible. The light started hurting his eyes and stuff like that. That's
Oh yeah,
started testing, he could go under because then he was becoming one of the little monsters. So I guess he started obtaining the magic.
sounds right. Sounds right. Um, so like I said earlier, the movie struggled at the box office, but since it's gained a cult following, what is it you think about the film that gives it that appeal? That it made it a cult following to people.
Oh man, it's funny. It like we said with the kid thing, you know what I mean? Like it's what kid wouldn't want that to happen? What kid what hasn't been scared of what's under the bed or what's in the closet, like we mentioned earlier, and then all of a sudden it's just something super cool come out and make you best friend, and then you get to go be a part of that world and stuff. And then you also have, looking back on it too, as far as the Wonder Years stretched out, you had Fred Savage's fame kind of rolling back around, like we may not even knew this movie came out, but then it's like, what? That's the kid from the Wonder Years. Let me go check this movie out. So that, and the dude, the makeup was great. The special effects and everything was awesome in it for the time, for sure. So I mean, it's an all around fun movie, and that's what I loved about it too. Is like I just watched it with my now 11-year-old, and he loved it. So it's like there's not many movies that you can pull up, live action anyway, and get a kid today to watch it, and they love it just as much as the kids back then loved it. You know?
And okay, so one thing we talk about sometimes, you and I were talking about this not too long ago, but we were talking about cartoons.
Yeah.
There are so many things that were said in this movie that probably shouldn't have been said in a kid's movie
Oh
that
yeah.
the adults would get, but as a kid, you may not have caught that at the time. I
Hmm.
caught quite a few of them watching them earlier, going, "Wow, that was in there in 1939." And I'm looking at a quote right here, and I'm like, "Yep, that was what he said. All right."
That's what he said. All
This is
right.
Maurice, a man's best friend, his right
His
hand.
right hand. It's
I
his
mean,
right
come
hand.
on, seriously? That
Yeah.
made the cut?
Yeah. How about when they were doing the sandwich and all when they were putting the sandwich and all this and that? He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "We take the shit, we smash the shit, and then we put the shit back." It's like,
Right?
well, they took somebody's wasn't it somebody's birthday present or something? They took, it was a bicycle or something. They
Oh,
broke. It was some. It was a little girl's. It was something of a little girl's that they broke.
I think so. They did so much in like a 10-minute window. I lost track of it.
Heck yeah.
It was crazy. So did you see this when it first came out, or was it a couple years later? Or
I saw it like probably as soon as it came to video. I didn't see it in the movie theater, but I mean, I was like 9 or 10 when I did see it, so it would have been right after it came out on video or
yeah.
cable, HBO, whatever. Do you remember when you first saw it?
Oh man, it was a rental because I
Yeah.
didn't say that. It's not a movie that I would have went to the theater to watch.
Hmm.
Not that I didn't want to see it or anything, but I would not have paid to go to the theater to watch it. I was more at that
Right.
time more about the action flicks, the karate movies, the
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, your Van Damme, your Seagal, your Lethal Weapons, your Arnold Schwarzenegger in movies,
Hmm.
Stallone's, and you know the deal. I was
Right.
all about that right there than anything.
That may be one of the reasons it didn't do that great too. Is especially with the budgeting and stuff. Because I mean, it wouldn't be something that the parents would want to take the kids to see in 1989, like versus something like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or something.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. But then
Because I
again,
mean,
you get the young actors.
we weren't taking ourselves to the movies, and I don't know of a whole lot of them. Aside from like Batteries Not Included or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or things like that that really did make big box office gains. I don't even know if Batteries Not Included make big box office gains. That's one that popped in my mind.
Yeah, I'm
But
not entirely sure. Batteries Not Included, Flight of the Navigator,
hmm
Space Camp, all these things you're talking about. They remind me of the same general type of movies.
yeah,
Uh, Ben Savage, like I said, this is his first role. Fred Savage's brother, Kayla Savage, sister to Fred and Ben, has a small role as a monster, which I mentioned earlier. Daniel Stern actually said in a rare, hard to find interview that he did not like working on this movie and really didn't want to be there.
oh
Uh,
really?
yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was about the movie that he didn't want to work on. If he's just there for his parts, it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like his character played a gigantic role in the movie.
Well, not only that, I can kind of see that. That kind of comes through in his performance because I was going to ask you earlier if you felt like he throughout the entire movie, it felt like he was a stepdad, not a dad. You
It
know what I mean?
did. Well, I mean,
You know,
there
the
were
way
there
it
were
felt like
parts where you could
that
tell he
role.
was a dad.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It felt like he was playing a stepdad's role
Like
instead
for
of
example,
a dad.
for example, like it is right here. He had a little impromptu bit with Fred Savage where he's telling him how proud he is of him for switching with his brother and to show him there's no monster under the bed. But he's like, hey, yeah, if you see that monster, get that monster's autograph, right? And he tickled him.
Yeah,
And that was an improvisation by Daniel Stern. And Fred Savage's reaction was genuine. He wasn't expecting that to happen. So the laugh was real, you know. So I
yeah,
mean, he had some parts where he looked like an actual father. Then there were some parts where it was like, like you said, he's not like a concerned father, but like just I'm here, I'm your stepdad. Where's my remote control?
yeah.
Or something. Mad because he thinks he's responsible for everything that happens in the house because it was his bicycle that got ran over. He thought he put it there and left it
Right,
there.
dude. This movie was so big in my house, and especially I think young boys. This was so big. Like every time something, I'd get blamed for something at the house, and I'd be like, "It wasn't me." I swear to you, my mom would go, "Oh, I guess Maurice did it." Like I swear, as
Yeah,
I sit here, dude.
that's
This is actually one of my mom's. My mom loves this movie as well. So she
that's
goes, "Oh, I guess
awesome.
Maurice did it."
That's awesome. I mentioned earlier about Margaret Whitten. I told you she played on that little bit role on Boy Meets World.
Mhm.
Now, I may have had that backwards with something else on here. I'm sorry if I did. I'm looking to here right now where actually Margaret Whitten and Ben Savage appear again as mother and son in 1992's Big Girls Don't Cry, They Get Even movie.
Oh, okay, okay,
So now that, and when you go down here and look where it says Boy Meets World, it says Howie Mandel's acting mentor was William Daniels. In Boy Meets World, Daniels plays Ben Savage's school teacher. So
Mr. Feeney.
Savage also considers Daniels his acting mentor, it says. So that I think it's where I got that a little bit backwards. Now I mentioned to you earlier, we were talking about how in the world did Howie Mandel play this role. He says in multiple interviews, including at the time this was put on here, it says a recent Dead Meat podcast. I don't know what Dead Meat podcast is, but
Mhm.
shout out to you for talking to Mr. Howie Mandel.
No doubt.
It says that Maurice was one of his least favorite characters to play due to his OCD and ADHD. The makeup process really irritated him, especially when the cement warehouse used to record the Monster World scenes would get hot, making him caked in sweat with late when the latex was removed.
Ah,
So, film critic Elvis Mitchell noted in his film that this film bears similarities with Pixar's Monsters Inc. in 2001.
Hmm. It
Little,
does, like, heavily, heavily.
yeah.
When I watched Monsters Inc. the first time, I was like, "Dude, this is so cool. This is like little monsters." It was kind of like watching Avatar and going, "Hey, that's Fern Gully."
I never thought about that. That's great.
Dude, Avatar is totally Fern Gully in
Oh my
like
gosh.
totally.
It's it, it
It's even the same. Like they're fighting the machines coming to tear up the rainforest. Like it's the same movie.
man, that's great. It says if the Pixar crew were directly inspired by Little Monsters, they're not sure, it's unknown, or if it was just mere coincidence. I would say it's probably inspired by it, just like Howie Mandel was kind of probably inspired by Beetlejuice, and
Oh,
maybe put a little bit of Beetlejuice in his character, but still made it his own.
right,
You know,
absolutely. Hey,
and that's not the first time that's happened. That's what you do in movies. You take
for sure.
something that you play off of, but you make it your own.
Absolutely, 100%. Hey, did you notice one of the posters on the wall is one of the movies we did
Yeah,
this
License to Drive.
yeah. I was
Saw
like, "That's
that.
pretty cool."
I saw that. That's not the first time, and also in see, that was Fred Savage's room and the way it was all decorated with the toys and the layout and the time posters and everything. They did the same thing with Princess Bride when he was there and having the story told to him by his grandfather.
Yeah,
He had the like the He-Man toys
right.
and
Yeah,
other things in the background behind him,
like me.
just like you with
Well,
your toys back
I got the
there,
castles anyway. I don't have my toys displayed, but I got the castles.
man. And let's talk about some dedication to the craft here. Frank Whaley, is that his name, Whaley or Wally?
Oh,
Whaley. I'm going to pronounce it Whaley because I don't know any different. I don't know any better.
yeah,
He's the one that played the boy, right?
right.
The monster
Mhm.
took the last plane from Carolina to Dallas after filming all his scenes.
From Carolina,
From Carolina to Dallas, it
north
says.
or south?
It just says
Where's your
It just says Carolina is all it says.
now I wanna know more
And the
about
next and the next day was there filming the first scene or his first scene in the movie Born on 4th of July, 1989.
what?
So, did you know there was a comic book series, Little Monsters?
Yes. Yes.
Did you ever have that?
No.
I know you're a comic book guy, so
Yeah, no, I didn't have that one.
yeah,
There's a
six
lot of them I
issues.
didn't have. I was focused up on Silver Surfer, man. I got some X-Men and I got like the holographic Spider-Man and I mean I got some comic books from a smattering from here and there, but I was dialed in on Silver Surfer.
It was just a 6 issue thing anyway. There are some things that today I wouldn't mind having. I've got one of the things I wanted, which was a 3 episode miniseries of The Last Starfighter in comics. And
Oh,
I think it's the comic book version of the movie itself is what I think it is.
heck,
Uh, I also wanted the 4 edition episode or the 4 edition thing for the A team. I don't have that.
ah.
I wouldn't mind having
Well,
that
I
one
did
too.
just go back. I don't know if we put this on camera on the podcast. I did just go back. I was showing this off to Chris the other day, guys and gals. I did just get the full box set of the Watchmen graphic novels.
I don't
So
recall if you put it on the
that
episode or not, but you showed me though.
yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. And
Yeah.
that's a good one. I might have to go get me another one to rock and one to stock because I found these on sale for a pretty good price. So I don't know.
Cool.
I've never actually read The Watchmen. Love the movie. Know about The Watchmen a little bit, but never
Yeah.
actually read it. So
Are you going to open it and read it, or are you going to leave it as it is?
I'm going to open it and read it because I know where a whole pallet of these are for $60, and they're usually about 145 to 165.
There you go. Do you? I don't know what all you remember about this movie as far as marketing goes. Do you remember anything marketing wise about the movie?
I really don't. I sure
There
don't.
was a Little
I
Monster
remember seeing some
sweepstake.
posters of them in the blockbusters or family videos or whatever it may have been back then.
Yeah, there was a Little Monster sweepstakes with an old school kids rap song as an infomercial,
What?
and you would dial the number 1-900-89 Maurice, and it resulted in the caller winning a variety of prizes, which varied from small things like copies of the movie, glow in the dark shirts,
Hmm.
little standee cutouts of Brian and Maurice, to bigger prizes such as signed photos of Fred Savage and the pinball machine that Brian and Maurice played in Monster World, as well as a trip to Hawaii. The
Wow.
sweepstakes, of course, is long over, as is the number to call, no longer available.
Huh.
But that's back when 900 numbers were a thing, I guess, for you to enter contests and everything.
How about this is a cool little piece of trivia, and I remember it being the original line. Well, it would make sense because they changed it in 2004. uh, when Brian first entered the monsters world, he runs into remember the creature Gomer? He had the
Yeah.
legs, the real long legs. What
Hmm.
did he say when you watched it today? What did he say?
Gosh, I don't
Did he
remember.
say?
I didn't really pay attention to that
Did
part,
he,
I guess.
did he say any friend of Maurice? Any friend of Maurice is a friend of mine.
I don't recall.
Because
Seriously.
he used to say trick or treat, smell my feet, because he had the long legs and they was dangling off the thing.
Yeah.
But for
Hmm.
some reason, on the Blu-ray released by Lionsgate, uh, and TV airings, he says anyone friend of Maurice is a friend of mine. That's weird.
All right. I did not know that. I didn't remember that, but I didn't know they changed it either, though. That's
Yeah,
cool.
me either. Because I was like, I don't think I've ever seen it where he said any friend of Maurice is a friend of mine, or I didn't notice it the last time I watched it, at least.
Man, whatever happened to Fred Savage? I wonder. You don't see much of him anymore.
No, no, it did. It seems like he made a couple cameos on what is it, Girl Meets World, where Topanga and what's his face is all grown up, and Sean's the uncle. They got a daughter now.
I mean,
And
could have. I
you know
mean,
what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Yeah, it seems like he might have made a doggone thing on it. You know what? You know what? You know where I saw him? I saw him on the Connors.
Doctor.
He was a psychiatrist on the Connors. Was it for Jackie? I think.
I don't know, but I was about to tell you I'm looking right now and I see the Connors listed here as Dr. Harding.
Yeah, he was on the Connors, dude. I remember that. I've been watching the Connors pretty regular here. Tasha will leave it on at night and stuff when she goes to bed.
Yeah, he's got some episodes in with some different things in here. American Dad, Family Guy, um, and then there was some
He was
things
in
released.
Deadpool too.
It wasn't Deadpool 2 as Fred Savage. Super Troopers 2 as Fred Savage.
So yeah, yeah, I remember that.
It's funny, little things here and there.
Little things.
I don't remember Super Troopers 2 being I guess
What
it
about
was a
Winnie? Did the
2018 movie.
uh did the did the fanboy fancon whatever did you just went to? Did wasn't Winnie there?
Yeah, at the Fanboy Expo in Knoxville,
Fanboy
Tennessee,
Expo. Yeah,
they had Danica McKellar that played Winnie.
yeah.
They had the mom and the dad. They had the sister played by Olivia Diabo. They
Okay.
had Jason Hervey that played the older brother, and they had the guy that played his friend Paul, I think was his name.
Oh, you
I
mean
can't
Marilyn
think.
Manson?
That
You
was an
remember
old
that?
rumor, wasn't it? Yeah,
It was, but everybody when Marilyn Manson first came out, everybody was saying that was Paul from Wonder Years.
it's funny. I do. I remember that, and I was thinking that same thing when I was in line at Danica McKellar, thinking, just laughing at myself, going, "What?" Thinking what people used to say about that. It's
That's
crazy.
hilarious.
Yeah, they had a whole Wonder Years panel, meet and greet with people. You get like an entire group picture made, or you can do your individual stuff. I didn't do an entire group picture, nor did I see the panel for it, but I
Yeah.
did. I did go to Danica McKellar's table though.
Heck yeah. Yeah. You
Got to
gotta
go
go
see Winnie Cooper, man.
gotta go see Winnie, man.
That's right.
That's like
Um,
what they say every boy's heartthrob was we progressed. We went from like Daisy Duke or what was it? No, it was the generation thing, the Generation X or the Zennials or whatever. Said we're old enough for our first love to be Daisy Duke until there was Winnie Cooper.
right. Oh my gosh, she was. Hey, she was great though. She was fun to talk to. She was
Mhm,
really nice. She does the Great American Family, I think it's called, channel now. Does a
mhm.
lot of like Christmas movies and the feel
Yeah, I've
good
seen her in a
movies and
few
such.
things. Yeah.
So she does a lot of that. And of course, if you follow the Facebook page or the Instagram, you'll see on there. I put pictures up when I went, so you'll see my picture had made with her on there
Yeah,
as
see,
well.
I gotta go check out the
I
Facebook page.
tried to get somebody to go to it because
I was trying, dude.
somebody's not that far, about as far as I was from it, opposite direction. But
I wanted to so bad. If
let me
it,
tell you,
if the
who
money
did go to
situation
it
had
though.
if the money situation and the PTO situation hadn't worked out like it was, I was fully making plans to come to it.
Let me tell you who did go, other than me, of course. Now there was Mr. 80s Flick Splashback himself, Tim. Tim was there.
Oh, no, that's right. You told me about
You,
that. Yeah.
yeah, you missed him. Now, stupid me, of course, didn't take our picture together or anything, or get his wife to take her picture or something. I should have done that.
Oh man.
And
World.
Timmy at Mr. Timmy there, back to the 1980s, that we follow on Instagram. He was also on the show here with us when he did Goonies with me on here.
Nice.
Really nice guy. He was there. I got to meet him as well. So
Heck,
was a very fun time. One of these days we'll get you out there to one though. We'll
oh
do
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. I don't want to fight the crowd, but in order to see the people, you got to, because they don't come to the little ones.
Yeah, if you don't, and I'll tell you, I have considered. Of course, we're getting off topic by saying this, but we always do. If you don't get the VIP tickets when you go,
Hmm.
you will wait sometimes 2 hours in line to get an autograph and a picture.
No, I won't.
Um, the VIP tickets sell out fast and are a limited number.
Yeah.
So if you're going to buy them, you're buying them when they first come out, and you're hoping there is somebody there you really want to see,
Right.
because those tickets are going to go on sale before any names are announced.
Right.
So
Heck yeah.
that's how that goes. Now, if you want to come to Nashville in June or April, whenever it is of next year, I think it might be April they moved it to. It's normally June. You can do that, and you can see Thomas Howell. You can see Martin Cove. You can see Chris Sarandon from Princess. We just mentioned Princess Bride earlier. He was in Princess Bride and Fright Night. Quite a few more people in there. They're having a bunch of the Disney princesses there too. The voices behind them. So
Okay.
I think that's their big panel they're doing that year. I'm sure they'll add more names to it, but we'll see. I'm a really a big thing with these Comic Cons now. I really enjoy meeting the people,
For
getting a
sure.
picture made with them, getting the autograph and everything. So
For
it's
sure.
fun.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Well,
I like it.
I'm gonna get you before you get me. What was your favorite part of this movie?
Oh, the two of them running around all night long pranking everybody.
Right on.
I mean, it's like everything they do, and then you see the kids when the parents wake up the next morning, the kids getting in trouble. They're like, "I guess you didn't do this either, did you?" They're like, "No, I didn't.
Right.
It wasn't me. I promise."
Heck yeah.
That was definitely my favorite. What was your favorite?
I'm gonna pull mine. I'm gonna pull mine from when I was a kid, and it was it was when he caught him in the sun, and he melted down to the floor, and he let him melt,
Uh-huh.
and then he felt all bad about it. And he shoved the clothes up underneath the daggum bed, and he was like feeling all down and out, like, man, I killed him. And then he popped up. He's like, "That's what I'm talking about, Bri." He's like, "You're a good dude." Yeah, yeah. When I was a kid, that was probably my favorite, because first time you see the movie, you're like, "Oh man, he killed him!" Like, 'cause you still ain't thinking, as a kid, you're not thinking, "Oh, well, there's still an hour of the movie
Oh,
left."
it was like a little throwback to the Wizard of Oz there, wasn't it?
Yeah, melding. He
Yeah,
actually did that.
melding.
He actually did that part too.
That's great.
Heck yeah.
Oh, I mean, we're getting fairly close to the end here, I guess. So
Mhm.
we'll go ahead and start wrapping things up. If you guys enjoy the show, then we do hope that you'll follow us at the social medias there at Facebook and Instagram. We are on TikTok. There's a channel on there. It's got some stuff of ours on it. We don't do a lot on there. However, if you want something with videos, go visit YouTube and look us up on YouTube, Retro Life for You, the number 4YOU. And you can subscribe and follow us on there, and check that little bell notification so that when we do upload something new, you're notified that it's out there. And you get to see these ugly mugs on screen as we talk and
Oh,
joke around and
yeah.
act all goofy and stuff and everything. And I'm trying to get the old catalog uploaded. I have taken a little bit of a small break recently on uploading and been really busy. So apologies for that. I'm working on getting back at
Happens.
it again soon.
It happens.
But yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
for sure.
And while y'all are looking this up, I want to throw a plug in for another good friend of ours. You go look up Mr. K's podcasts. You can find a couple different things in there. We're talking about getting crunk up again. His name's Mr. Ray Franklin. Chris does a wrestling
Mr.
podcast.
KS, that is not Mr. K's, Mr. KS.
Mr. KS podcast channel.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Front Row Wrestling Podcast. He does a wrestling podcast where he talks
Right.
about current things that are going on, and sometimes you get into an old school debate / argument
Yup.
/ discussion.
Yup. He's always fun to talk to. We were kicking around a thing I kind of a pet project of mine. We call it a street gentry. It's kind of like the barbershop of podcasts. We kind of pick a topic and then just go to talking, and just wherever the conversation takes us is where we go. And we've been talking about maybe getting that crunk back up here pretty soon. After school gets going, we get all our kids where they need to be. So yeah, y'all go on over there and give Mr. Ray Franklin a listen too. So
Absolutely, and you can find him on YouTube and Facebook, and Twitch, I believe it is. I do think he recently, with the help of his co-host Huck, went on to TikTok on Huck's TikTok.
Yeah,
not entirely sure, but you can just look up Front Row Wrestling Podcast, and you'll find the different places where they're at.
No doubt.
So, Travis.
Yeah, what's up?
You got anything for me this week, man?
I might. I'm gonna do it like the guys in the aliens or the guys duck hunting. What do you call a monster you can't find?
What?
A werewolf.
A what?
A werewolf.
Oh my God. I made you. Not only did you say it once, I actually had you say it a second time.
Yeah.